basic. You have the fluid coupling portion of it. This is hooked to the engine. This is kind of like a big hydraulic fan. Then this is a fan that absorbs energy from the engine to the training. So you have your fluid that exits the impeller, drives the turbine, and then it's redirected through the stator, and that's essentially what gives you your torque multiplication, or your stall speed.
Okay.
And that stall speed is pretty much the point that you accelerate, and the engine revs up, and it moves forward, and that's kind of where your stall speed changes. Well, with the viscous drive, you have 5 clutches here, and the factory torque converter will have 1 clutch.
Okay.
So if you were to remove all these clutches and you bonded one to the piston, as that squeezes together, that basically gives you your one-to-one connection when you get up to speed.
Okay. So that's your lockup, so to speak.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what we've done with the 5-star is we've kind of integrated the two of them. We have 5 discs here that actually interlock in a mesh, and then you have fluid between them. And there's what you call the eddy viscosity fluid action that happens as the clutch plates are spinning together. And so you have power transfer on the clutch side of it, and you have power transfer on the fluid side of it. So when you put the two of them together, you have optimal stall speed, and then you have an increased torque multiplication that accelerates it, so you don't have all that slippage like you do on a factory truck.
Like what you were saying with the Cummins, that a lot of times you get a stoplight and you get in a throttle, the motor starts to scream because it over revs the torque, or over revs the lockup. Am I right?
Exactly.
So that's where this comes into play. It essentially slows down the torque curve.
Right. It is what it does. It kind of brings the efficiency and the stall speed and the torque multiplication together. So when you accelerate, you get more units of energy, in essence, from the engine to the rear wheels. So when you accelerate, instead of that energy going into the torque converter and generating all this heat, it actually goes into the torque converter and it comes out the back of the torque converter with increased power.
I got you. Okay. Now, explain to us, there's a lot of things that make this an upgrade over stock. Obviously, all the clutch plates in the back end, but some of the hard parts, like this stator here, I know this isn't factory. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the factory stator is actually fairly narrow between the impeller and the turbine, so this ring is about the width of it. What we've done is we've redesigned this so it actually will take the fluid and allow it to redirect efficiently. And then between the two vanes, we have actually laid those back just like a compressor will in a turbo.
Okay.
So you don't have the choke. And by not having that choke, you never slow the fluid down as it's making the rotation through the converter.
So technology from the turbo goes right in here.
Exactly. That's exactly where this came from. As a matter of fact, we use what we call a little inducer vane in a turbocharger. And there's a vane that actually utilizes the fluid or the air to be picked up efficiently. We kind of do it in reverse. So as that fluid is redirected off the turbine and back into the engine, opposite engine rotation, it just makes a nice even swoop and it increases the efficiency.
Well, I think all we have to do now is place this together. I'll get the welder and we should be ready to go, huh?
I think so.